Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk to you about the tiptoe trap. What is the tiptoe trap, you may ask? Make their presence a bit, I don't want to come across as, being felt, if I'm there, okay? But if I'm calling the tiptoe trap for today's video, it's about how sometimes we can tiptoe through life, okay? We spend most of our lives tiptoeing around whether people like us, whether we're saying the right things. We think, obviously we need to think, but we think through so many flitters before we actually start saying, right? And by the time we actually speak, if we speak at all, are we really speaking based on our own accord or what has been conditioned in our lives, right? So where does this come from? Here's the thing. Watch as a child grows up. They cry, they sad, they mad, they throw their toys outside the cot. But somewhere along the way, you learn. Maybe you spoke up and then this happened. Maybe you said this and then this happened. So then you actually understand that, okay, maybe if I do this, maybe this is what the result of doing this actually looks like. So you adapted because now you know what to do and what not to do. And it works probably. That's the part nobody speaks out loud. People pleasing works. I kept the peace, right? It kept me safe, right? People liked me. They said I did great. The pattern stuck, and probably it was then embedded, not just from the time as you were a child, but as you progress into adulthood. But you're not a kid anymore, okay? Because of all the flitter that you've had to learn from. Secondly, it costs you real connection. You're not able to fully being yourself and maybe even finding your crew because you're pretending to be someone that you are not. And it might be that you do have a crew, but it's a crew that does not reflect who you really are. So it costs you real connection. And thirdly, it costs you energy, If you watch TV, you see a lot of actors and actresses and they play a role for majority of the period of the movie. And you heard sometimes people say, actors and actresses say, that role cost me so much energy. It took a lot out of me because they had to become someone that they were not. And sometimes a role can be demanding emotionally, physically, and it can really take a toll in one's life. So imagine you showing up in this world, a fraction of who you are, losing the real essence of who you are because you're trying to blend in and costing yourself unnecessary energy that is not actually productive and it's actually costing you mentally and psychologically, right? Constant self-monitoring. Am I wearing the right thing? Is my hair the right way? Did it tie up the right way, right? You leave conversations drained. I can honestly say this for myself. I'm one person where I've moved from protect my time. I'm now about protecting my energy, okay? And yes, time is very important, but I want to make sure within that time, my energy is not drained. Because once you pretend to be someone that you are not, once you are around people that you do not really vibe with, once you start pretending to be someone that you are not, you are ultimately costing yourself. And we like to talk about this very loosely. Only later on, when you hear conversations of people who are much older than you, they will probably tell you what is the most thing. They will probably, when you ask them the question, what is the most thing that you regret the most, or what is the one thing that you wish you didn't do but you did it anyway? And they have a laundry list of regrets of I wish I was myself. I wish I didn't care what people said. I wish I actually tried this. I wish I traveled this. And if you search on YouTube or anywhere online and just see messages from people who are older than you, they will normally tell you what they regret most. Ultimately, they regret not being themselves, okay? And so the tiptoeing trap is actually conditioned for you not to be yourself. And we are most of the time in environments where people say be yourself, be yourself. But as soon as you start becoming yourself, then it becomes a problem. So you learn from that perspective that me being myself is actually not good, even though I am told to be myself. So then you show up in the world tiptoeing. So let's reframe. Let's just reframe, okay? Be more afraid of disappointing yourself. The other day, I was sitting down, coming from, the day, just sitting down and reflecting of, you know what? I need to be more aware of how I respect myself than I do with others. I need to be flabbergasted when I disappoint myself than I care how I disappoint others. Because at the end of the day, this is my life to live. I only have me living my life to make sure their lives are more better, which is their responsibility. Not because other people don't matter. People matter, and we need to be mindful of other people. But when you start living your life in a way that disappoints you more than it does other people, that's when you need to kind of switch up and look at the dial. This month, we are reversing that. So in this channel, I'm going through a bit of a rebrand, a transition, if you could say, of myself and my talents, my gifts, and I want to start sharing that with you, because when you are in an environment where you feel or you sense that your abilities are not being extended to their full capacity, for someone who does have a lot of integrity when it comes to doing what they said they will do, and when they don't do it, they find themselves like they are using the fraction of themselves, which is really not it. So in this channel, from July up until whenever, I will be starting to be very forthcoming on some of these journeys and these lessons I've learned along the way. So before we go on this journey together, please comment on the comment section about where have you felt in your life, or are you currently in a position to share how you are choosing to stop tiptoeing around your life, to stop really caring more about disappointing people than you care about disappointing yourself. We are a community. I want to build a community with us, and they are flabbergasted by just how things are, and they are questioning themselves, is this it? And I can honestly tell you, no, it's not it. But you are a multifaceted human being. You are a gifted person. There's more to you than just what you are saying. So to close, I want to read this for you. Excuse me. Just no, sorry. I don't know. I'm a bit, my throat is a bit dry. So before next week, because we're going to have another segment next week, just notice, catch yourself in a moment where you are about to edit. Let's say you're in a room, you are engaging with someone, you're in a meeting, and here you go, you are tempted to edit yourself. Catch yourself. So write down how many times I have caught myself trying to edit myself, and then pause, laugh at that thing that wasn't funny. Okay, you're doing all of those things. Okay, so let me rephrase it. Catch yourself in one moment when you're about to edit. Soften the no, swallow the opinion, laugh at the thing that wasn't funny. Don't even change it yet. Just notice you're doing it. Awareness first is quite important. That's where it all begins. So next week, we will go deeper into what it really means to disappoint yourself. I hope I was clear. Anyway, I want you guys to reflect in the coming few days where you are about to say something that does not resonate with you, where you are about to aware of when we say disappointing yourself. How does it look like? Disappointing yourself is saying yes to things you have no business saying yes to. So in this channel, in this journey of this channel, we are going on a journey of reading ourselves in terms of the habits that we've built for ourselves, and stopping ourselves from pretending to be people that we are not, to please people who don't even care. Okay, I hope you guys can resonate. Like I asked earlier on, please drop your comments about when have you allowed your life to tiptoe around people's life, and how are you changing the narrative, taking back your story, taking back your time, taking back your narrative. It's time for us to ascend into the beings that God has created us to be. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the lady had a guest who was talking about we are a sum of our experiences from the time we become children to the time we become adults, and we are focused on this particular vocation or a profession or whatever. Most of the time towards the end of our 30s, she was saying that it may feel like, have we really lived an authentic life? And a lot of people you might even see online are doing a transition in terms of, maybe I should go into this, maybe I should go into this. And she was saying, instead of looking at it as a pivot, which it might be a pivot, but look at it as an ascension. You've learned so much in the space that you've lived in this world, and now you to the world because you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. And I really enjoyed this interview. I will drop it on the chat so you can see it. It's an interview where Carla Harris was being interviewed by Mel Robbins, and she was talking about the importance of taking up your story, taking back your own idea of what success looks like. And this is so important in this day and age where we are tiptoeing around what people prescribe as success, what people push in terms of what society pushes, the narrative that's not the same for everyone. And it's important for people to start owning their narrative, taking back their story, and really just harnessing what God has given them. And it's not a waste of what you've done previously. It's an amalgamation of the many things that you've already achieved. So I hope to be with you on this journey and share with you some of the lessons. So this is not just about, just all about yourself, but I'm also going to practically be teaching you, especially if you are keen to hear more on the technology, digital transformation space where I'm mostly in. I'll be sharing with you most of my experiences, how also it's important to do a self retrospection or introspection when organizations or individuals are going through a form of transformation, and how important it is. It's not an isolated approach, it's a joint approach that doesn't look at technology first, but it looks at its people and its processes. And it requires visionary, it requires challenging each other. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of my experiences and some of my practical lessons around what does this actually look like. So I hope you guys come on the journey with me. Have an awesome day. Bye.